primary supervisor and the Hall of Fame chairman for Sweetwater High School. It's a great time to be a Wildcat. I want to welcome you to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for 2025. First, I want to thank SHS for allowing us to use their facility. Coach Davies. Before I left, she talked me into starting a media arts class that digitizes pretty much everything that you do, which she'll talk about later. They do about 90% of these banquets and that type of stuff, put them on. They work incredibly hard. She came to me about the Hall of Fame several years ago because the issue was not that we didn't have athletes, because I thought, my Lord, there's so many people that should be in the Hall of Fame for Sweetwater High School that you just can't put numbers on it, because the pride that every sport had, it was rare that football even kept statistics on who the top rushers were, et cetera, because there were so many of them. See Mr. Latham sitting back there, the Darrell number 22, that everybody remembers, and Dustin back there, who claims he's the best, but he's probably not. But if you put all the Lathams together and thought about that and how many total yards they had, you know, it'd be a tough situation. But with the media platform, we talk about what we're going to do, how we're going to put these people in stone, because how many times you out mowing around or vice versa, and you know somebody hits the marker or this kind of thing, or the weather destroys it and vice versa, because that was my biggest concern. You could put a monument out there, because the first class in the history of Sweetwater had a monument out here next to the road that looked like a book that somebody drove over one day and said, "Oops, I'm sorry," but it never got replaced, and there's no issues. But with this, you know, once Coach Allen's gone, you know, he's getting close. He's still going to be in that Hall of Fame, and you can tap on it outside the gym and pull his name up and see everything he's accomplished. Anyway. Also, Miss Cleveland, where you at? Back in the back. Miss Cleveland does a great job helping us. She's also on the Hall of Fame committee, so she actually gets to vote sometime. Special thanks to all these speakers for their season. Except for these two, they're still pretty young. We'll see how good they are. But anyway, I don't know about that, Coach. Anyway, all of these guys, these athletes, have sacrificed so much through their careers. And I grew up at SHS in Sweetwater, and you know, you come down the ridge occasionally before the trees grew up and the lights were on, the whole town knew it. Anything that was going on athletically, you knew it was going on. I've managed to be a part of pretty much all of these inductions. I coached 3 of the 5, I taught 4 of the 5, and attended school with 1 of the 5. We won't talk about what order that is. But at some point, every one of these have lifted me to a higher point, you know, a higher place, so to speak. Not with just their accomplishments, the things that they do. You think, how in the world did they just pull that off? I mean, here's Ben Downs. Yeah. Did I steal your thunder? Oh, gosh. Chief! Anyway, a lot of memories, a lot of stories that we could talk about. You know, some of our training sessions, for example, with Coach Downs, there was a time I could outrun him. We'd go up Monroe Street, he'd quit on it. But we never could outrun Carter. We do a shoot around in the gym if we ever practiced in the gym softball, and they can tell you that Casey's the only one to win. Everybody shoots to their list. Well, Casey kept hitting. So I said, she's never going to lose. Well, I actually come in second most of the time. But she never missed. But one thing I stress about as a coach or a teacher, the principals, get all you can out of your high school experience. Make sure you can see past the end of your nose when you're done. So student athletes sacrifice knees, shoulders, elbows, time, final exams, the whole works just to be here. But one thing I can say is, looking back, they all lived in the moment. So let's move to our first inductee. Our first one was voted in last spring, but couldn't be here because she had an obligation, so we moved her to the winter time. It's Emily Cleveland Roy. The Cleveland family has produced multiple athletes, including Alan. Where is Alan? There it is. Taught me how to hit a half-court shot during a basketball game. Who's coached many sports to this day and still has the knees to play basketball or tennis if you're interested. Okay? Or pickleball probably, which is new. Greg played basketball, which is one of my favorite stories. I'll tell you about that later some other time. It's just a private story. Excellent baseball player. His daughter Lily is well on her way to being a great athlete also. Now, as far as Emily goes, you won't believe this, but Huck has more mileage on him right now in a stroller than 90% of us in this room. So, I don't know how she did it. Who runs up Highway 68 pushing a stroller? She should just join the military. Anyway, she was also salutatorian of her senior year at SHS. Emily's road to running started in junior high, because Coach Ridgel and I coached together for years, and she helped manage his girls basketball team. So she asked Coach Ridgel, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but she asked me if she could run with the team. Okay? When I first saw this, I said, well, she's out running everybody. I said, Coach Ridgel, does she play softball? He said, no, she just runs. I said, okay, and run she did, right through SHS into coaching, where she teaches and coaches here today, and Pellissippi State. Speaking on behalf of her is my wife, Patty Patterson Weaver. Patty was her coach in high school for track and cross country. One of the worst fights I've ever had in my life is because of track. Believe it or not, I spent all winter in the weight room with Adam Hickey. And Adam's a tough little linebacker, but he was undersized. I put about 15 pounds on him. Well, he ran track. He was a sprinter. So I said, don't run the weight off of him. Well, it was game on. I just insulted her and her sport because I said, don't run the 15 pounds off of him, because she wanted him to run 2 miles before he ever practiced sprinting. I said, don't do that. Well, it didn't work out well for me. But Adam continued, and he had a great career. Still lost that weight. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Patty Weaver.
Well, thank you. It's very true. He gets so mad at me. And of course, Keith Hickey, bless his soul, he would say, he goes, Patty, you tried, didn't you? You tried to make him a runner. But I'm here tonight to honor, and it's my honor and privilege to recognize an athlete, a leader, just an all-around great person, and that's Emily Cleveland Roy. As a coach, you hope that you have athletes that just have that heart and that commitment, that dedication, and Emily was that runner. I can remember so many times we'd be out there practicing. We'd do 2 a day sometimes. We'd be out there 5 in the morning at the track, freezing cold, rain, because spring sports are kind of difficult. And we'd be out there running, and there was Emily. She was always just going. And I'd say, we'd have afternoon practices, and I'd say, all right, go warm up. And she, Emily's warm-ups were 2 miles. And so she'd go warm up, she'd come back and go, what next, coach? And I'd go, do 50 hills. She'd go do the 50 hills. What next, coach? Go do 5 miles. And she was one of those runners. She was just dedicated, and she just wanted to master, and she did. She mastered her sport. She focused, and she uplifted all her teammates too. She would encourage them. One of my fondest memories as a coach, and I loved coaching and teaching here. I had all you guys, and it was great. But one of my fondest memories was, as a TSSAA school, your athletes can't participate in some local fundraising events and things. So there was a 5K up in, what's the name up here, Coca Creek. Yeah. And so they said, come on, coach, why don't you run it for us? Let's run. I said, okay, I'll run it, right, because I was a runner. And so we get up there, and when you're running those hills, so I think it was the end of the race, and we were running uphill, and there stood Daniel Julian and Emily. Dig, 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 dig. I'm like, oh, you guys are going to pay for that. But that was them. They were always encouraging, and Emily was always encouraging. You know, her impact wasn't limited to just her performance and all her achievements. Her impact was in driving other folks here at the school and her other teammates. But during her career here, and I've got to read this, she was a state qualifier in cross country, and I can't take credit for that. Coach Dowdy coached you, I think, your first couple of years. But she did the distance for me in mile and 2 mile. But she also is a state medalist. I think placed 15th in the state in the long distance. She qualified 3,200 meters, state qualifier 3,200 meter and 1,600 meters. She went on to Lee University, and she was the NAIA National Championship qualifier. She was all conference, all region, scholar athlete. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Emily was just awesome, awesome, awesome. Then she continued running, because we always see Emily out on the road, running up 68. She ran, how many? 13 marathons, Emily? If you guys know, I've run 2 marathons, 26.2 miles. That takes a lot of training, right? So she's also qualified and ran 5 times in the Boston Marathon. And you have to qualify for that race. I never attempted it, so kudos to Emily, she did. She's a leader in every sense of the word, lifting her teammates up. She exuded humility, class, sportsmanship, wherever we went. Because we were that redheaded stepchild and athletes at the school here, because we started a team, we weren't real big. Thank you to the Clevelands, you guys sponsored us, took us places, we drove places, we barely had uniforms. I remember sitting in the meet in Maryville High School, and we're all sitting there, and they're like, they've got matching shoes, matching uniforms, matching ornaments, matching duffel bag, matching everything, and we just barely had uniforms. But by golly, they were the best team in the world. They were out there, and there was Emily cheering everybody on. She stated that she's very passionate about running, and she's still a big runner. She says she loves helping others become better runners, and I think that's why she's a coach today. And she also coaches at Mississippi State, where I'm employed, and we just love her there. But she wants not only for people to be better runners, but to be better people, right? And so she encourages them. Because one thing about, as all athletes know, when you're working at things, you set those goals and you achieve them because you want to excel in your sport. And she does that. She helps others do that. So she just is awesome. As her coach, I watched a young girl turn into a beautiful, strong woman. And that's the wonder of being a coach and helping athletes. It's just incredible. So she's gone for a full circle now. She's coaching here, teaching here. She coaches at Mississippi State, like I said, our cross-country and half marathon team, men and women's. And they went they won all conference and had some gold medalists. So she continues to encourage and carry on. So we're going to celebrate not just her accomplishments, but her being this wonderful, wonderful, strong female and woman. So for future generations, we have that. And so it's with great pride and honor that we induct Miss Emily Cleveland Roy to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Miss Patty. Our second induction is Miss Corey Cooper Downs. There are multiple people who can speak on her behalf, of course. Myself, Coach Rizzo, her dad, or college coaches. However, I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak on her induction. Coach Martin and I played football with her daddy, old number 72, Super Coop. He always took care of the little guys in the locker room. You know, myself and Martin, not like Wayne Kyle, I'll tell that story later. Anyway, it was impossible to block him. If anybody that knows the old school football practice field, we had these old wooden chutes, you know. And if you didn't come out of there in a hurry and try to get low enough, you tear the hide off your back with that piece of wood that was going to catch you when they jacked you 10 feet up into the air, because Coach Henry was watching. And if he didn't hit you hard enough, he'd make you stand there and get you hit again. But anyway, at that time, he probably had no idea that he was going to have a daughter that was a way, way, way better athlete than him. Especially her speed. If he got a hold of you, good luck, but he was not known for speed. Had to come from Mama Marcella. Anybody? Can I get an amen? Anyway, Carrie played basketball and softball, but it was clear in an early age that Carrie was a special talent in softball. She started for 4 years, which is not uncommon, but kind of rare in some cases, because at that time there was not a lot of travel ball, and she played on one of the first travel teams that her daddy had put together. Coach Ridgell and I missed her senior year because we deployed to Iraq in May of her junior year and didn't come back for 18 months. I've only seen one other player who could play so many positions during my lifetime, and Coach Davies coached that. She started as a catcher as a freshman and was all-county, all-district, and the advocate freshman of the year. But catching, everybody knows if you're a catcher, you're not just catching. You're controlling the field, you're controlling the tempo, and you're managing the team. I can't remember if it's junior. I think it's a junior year. I'm pretty positive. We're at the Gibbs tournament in Knoxville, which we were the runner-up. And we're playing Gibbs on Friday night on their home field. We just had not a meltdown, but we'd had an incident that we'd lost a one-run lead. They come running to the first base dugout, and they're kind of all over the place. Well, Kari locks them up with a big smile on her face and says, "We're going to be okay." Anyway, at that time, there just happened to be a photographer that was outside that had taken a picture of that little group, and you could see Kari talking to the players in the team, because Coach Ridgell or Julie and them would not let me in the huddle a lot of times, so they pulled me back over here. But anyway, he calls me at Sweetwater High School and says, "Can I use this as a picture as an advertisement?" And I said, "Yes, as long as you send me a poster size one." Well, he did, and it was framed, and it had been at Sweetwater High School until I left, and now our mom and daddy have it, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we did beat Gibbs that night, and she by far was the best athlete on the field, who, believe it or not, could also pitch, play infield, outfield, but none of these were her best attribute. She was probably the purest hitter I've seen. A leadoff hitter for 4 years. Leadoff hitter. Somebody her head cleaned up. She never hit below 400 for 4 years. And as a leadoff hitter, that's pretty hard to do. Coach Doan from Walker Valley, and he said it multiple times, and he and I are still friends, that, you know, we're playing a district with Walker Valley. We had 1,200 kids every day, and they showed up these 6-footers and still couldn't get her out. But he said it's impossible to get Kari out. But I've only seen her strike out once, but I'm sure she struck out more than once. I just don't remember, but this one really sticks out in my mind. We're at David Lipscomb, lead off, which is a powerhouse private school and a sub-state, whatever, sectional, during her freshman year. The pitcher on the mound was a 6'3", I guess. She's Megan Rhodes, currently Tennessee's pitching coach for the softball team. Now, she could bring it, and she's the first 70-mile-an-hour pitcher I saw in person, okay? So here comes the windup. Kari steps in the box. She's ready. I'm ready to go. She throws that pitch. Kari steps that first foot out, and it's a strike, of course, and her eyes are this big inside that bat helmet. And I just said, "Hit it!" You know, there's not a whole lot else you could do. But with that, she did come up eventually the next time and did hit the ball. Kari's awards include 4 All-County, 2 All-County MVPs, 4 All-District awards, 3 All-District all-district tournament awards and one all-district tournament MVP award. 2005 Knoxville Prep Scholar Athlete of the Year, the Advocate Democrat Monroe County Athlete of the Year, and All-Region Tournament Sports USA Hawaii team. Got to go to Hawaii and play softball that year, you know. Anyway, she's the first Division I scholarship winner in the history of Sweetwater High School softball. So she signed with UTC and played there. She was unanimous, the school's second unanimous all-state player to be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Corey Cooper, the winner class of 2025 Sweetwater High School Hall of Fame. Our third induction is Mr. Ben Downs. I was fortunate to be able to coach Ben through 4 years of football and 1 year of basketball. That was fun. You know, Coach Allen's a one-man show. I'd say, let me take the post down here. No, it was 2-on-2 Army, you know, block-out drills, and the Coach Weeks will appreciate this. What's the perfect block-out, Coach Allen? Ball's got to hit the floor. So we did those drills, and it got to the point, he said, we would dress out and beat Ben Downs up. So I did. I kept hitting him with a knee brace all the time just to torture him a little bit. But anyway, we also coached him in high school as far as that, in the Little League and all that. I can remember coaching him on the hoppers when I first got out of the military. This little number 6, he's just a little bitty thing. Jerry said it best one day when I saw him first play, I knew I had a hitter. We didn't know he could throw a ball, but he would strike somebody. He's a special talent in high school as far as football because he can contribute right away, which is rare. He played 3 sports. I don't know how they do that anymore, but you know, go straight from football to basketball to baseball and so on. And he had a chance, believe it or not, to play all 3 at the next level. At one time, I thought he might play basketball. You know, the Coastal Carolina deal and the whole Oliver Springs sectional game, or not sectional, region championship. But anyway, but fate intervened. So speaking on behalf of Ben Downs, is Hall of Fame member Coach Greg Allen, who was the last SHS coach to put Ben on a bench for shooting prior to 5 passes. I know you guys don't understand that, but we didn't shoot the ball until there was 5 passes. Anyway, I hope this doesn't turn into a roast because you paid for your raising, and I think he's ready. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, please welcome Coach, honored, legendary Coach Greg Allen.
Okay, I think Ben's been worried all day that he doesn't know what's coming. So, anyway, now I'm actually going to say a couple of good things. So, it kind of hurts. Can y'all hear me? Also, just want to say, because I want to say thank you to all y'all that are going into the Hall of Fame. But I was thinking about Kevin Sharp back there. It's kind of neat as I was looking out there, you know, because I played with Kevin and it means something when you play with someone. But anyway, look back here and saw Alan Cleveland. He's the one, Kevin, that put us on our road, didn't he? Back in the day. So you don't forget those times. I want to say thank you, Alan, because you believed in us, and I still remember that. But let's get to Mr. Downs, all right? Okay, first of all, let me get on the right page here. Here we go. I'll be speaking about Ben. As y'all know, Coach kind of told you, I'm going to be covering two sports because Coach told you a little bit about football, but I'm going to be covering basketball and baseball, probably more basketball, even though, as y'all know, he went on to play baseball in college. But he was successful in all three, as Coach said. But also I want to give you some of his awards, as you can see there. Anyway, All District 97, 98, 99, All Region 99, All East Tennessee 99. And also, what's left out is all of his awards in basketball. A couple MVPs, I think, all right? So, anyway, I wasn't much into individual awards, I'll be honest. So, I was all about team, but you're still proud of him. So, anyway, Volunteer State, I only got to see him a couple times there. 16 wins on the mound, that's when he's in JUCO, honorable mention All-American. Tennessee Tech, I got to see him pitch a lot. And I shouldn't say a lot, probably 5 to 6 times a year I'd make a trip over because I wanted to support my boys. And anyway, he's in the baseball record book in TTU for over 10 times. 2-year starter as a right-hand pitcher, 15 wins, over 160 Ks. That's strikeouts for you people who are baseball challenged. 3-time OVC Pitcher of the Week. 2-time All-OVC, member of Tennessee Tech All-Century Team, top 100 players that ever played at Tech. So y'all get the idea, he's pretty good. Okay? Now, I want to get to the part a little bit, let's start where I saw him first. Okay? I call it the important stuff. Well, I first saw him when he was 9 or 10 years old. Okay, I saw some tall, gangly kid that just ran. I mean, he was always rambunctious, all right? He was playing for the Yankees, all right? And I was umpiring, and he was throwing it hard as a pitcher. I didn't know where it was going, and he didn't either, all right? So there was a problem, all right? Because sometimes those catchers aren't the most reliable back then, okay? But also, and by the way, I didn't even get into his coaching awards. Y'all can read them. But anyway, you could see raw ability at that age. I saw a very competitive young kid. He hated to lose. And here's the thing, little did I know I'd be coaching him. It seemed like forever, all right? He was one of those guys, right, Coach Weaver? He never left, did he? Okay? But anyway, I coached him 1 year in junior high basketball. Then I moved to the high school. Coached him as I think I was your head coach 3, right? And Coach Green had him his freshman year, and I was an assistant then. And then helped in baseball. I was assistant. And then, like I said, I would go on after that so many times a year and see him. And I could talk about his wipeout changeup. I saw him make people look silly at the college level. I saw him get the save against UT. Coach Borth and I were there. And he got the last out, put down a major leaguer. Would-be major leaguer, am I right? Okay? In that 9th inning. Yeah, you're proud of him. Amen. Seeing shut down. Okay, UT. So, anyway, that's the good stuff about, yeah, he's good, all right? But I like to talk about the process, all right? I like to talk about how did he get there? Okay? Because he's got 2 boys sitting there, and I want them to understand this. Okay? Now, first things first, he was set up for success, first of all, because he had a foundation. He knew Jesus Christ as his Savior. Okay? That's it. Okay? That's the bottom line. Because all good things come from him. All right? Then, going on, secondly, as I started coaching him, I saw this kid, he didn't ever backtalk me. Okay? Don't get me wrong, they wanted to. Okay? Because I'm going to push him. I'm going to push him. But he never did because I figured out real fast, his dad was not putting up with any nonsense. Amen. He was brought up to respect. Okay, so there's one problem out of the way. He was coachable. Okay? So you owe a lot to your parents. I think he knows that. Okay? So anyway, I'm telling you all this because he was set up for success. But here's the deal. Each of us have a choice to do something with it. Okay? He decided to use his talents, be coachable, strive for perfection, and reach excellence. You ever heard that, Wayne Kyle? Kevin Sharp, you ever heard that? Mark Standard, you ever heard that? It's what we were taught by this man. Strive for perfection, you will reach excellence. Okay? So Ben chose to reach for higher ground, where many people waste their talents, because he had an excellent spirit in him. You can read that in Daniel 5. He had an excellent spirit. Why is that important? An excellent spirit means you will work, you're coachable, and you will do what it takes to maximize your talents. Okay? Zechariah 4:10 says, do not despise the day of small things. Okay? Because I was into small things as a coach. I was into the small things, because if you don't have the small things, you're not going to the big. Okay? So each day in basketball and baseball, he knew he was going to have to do every little small thing correctly. Okay? Because you really see your kids at practice, by the way. That's where I decided who played. Okay? You see what's inside of it. First of all, he knew he wasn't going to play if he didn't do them. Okay? That was set in stone. Okay? But here's the thing. He wanted to do them right. Now, did we have attitude adjustments along the way? Oh, yes. All right? But most of the time, not a whole lot. I'm talking about effort. Okay? He did the small things with the right attitude of the mind. You know, your mind's got an attitude. That's Ephesians 4:23. Your mind's got an attitude. Okay? So what he did, and when you do that, you will end up having a big house built when you do all the small things. Success follows you. Okay? Hall of Fame people, champion people do the small things. They're driven by a different wind. They do the things most people don't see. Okay? They do it because it's the right thing to do. Okay? They do it because it's the right thing to do. All right? Speaking of doing things right in basketball, he did the things I love. You won't get on Sports Center for this. Okay? You won't have people running up to you after the game and saying, man, I love that charge you took. No, you know what it does? It just wins you ball games. Okay? He led the team in taking charges. He would block out. He was in the right place. Not a lot of write-ups. No, just leads to wins. Okay? Gives you a look into the character of a person is what it does. Okay? Crazy thing, he just actually enjoyed doing it. Because you know what? It became a part of him. Because he knew he had to do it. Then, after you do it for so long, it becomes a habit. Guess what? It becomes a part of you. So, he did the same thing in baseball. Coach Bohr gave the blueprint, and he tried to follow. The intricacies of pitching, do the little things, then you can build. By the way, I knew he'd be a lot better in college pitching because he had to fill out and do all the other little things, and I knew it would all come together where he would be real good. So what happens when you throw some talent in a bowl, a competitive spirit, an excellent spirit, somebody that's coachable will do the little things, okay? You will end up playing skillfully. Psalm 33:3, David said, play a new song, sing a new song, play skillfully. Okay, he played skillfully on the harp because he strived for perfection, and you will reach excellence. Yes, from all these factors decides how skillful you will play. Ben decided to step to the plate and do the things and became successful in more than one sport because he decided to do the right things. It takes talent to reach a Hall status, but to climb there is an attitude of the mind because the battle is always in the mind. It's always right here. Am I going to do what it takes to be there, to be that? Okay? Because the attitude of the mind takes you to what this man hung up and what we saw all the time. It's that acrostic. I would ask these three to make sure if they know it. Chant. C stood for courage. H, heart. A, attitude. M, mental toughness. P, pride. That's a chant. Okay? So that's what it is. Because that's what we were held to, and that's what I held my players to. All right? So not only in athletics, but guess what? It'll take you farther in life. All right? Your attitude will always determine the altitude you reach in life. Okay? So I was hard on him. Okay, like I said, he had adjustments for me every once in a while. Because here's the deal. I believe the word. To whom much is given, much is required. Okay? So I didn't expect halfway effort. And I also want to speak on this. There's a lot of, you've coached a lot of good players, haven't you? I've coached some good ones. But the ones that rise above just being good, there's a lot of good players out there. The ones that do that, they rise up. Because it's nice to have great stats, score 25, have 10 Ks, whatever. But the real good ones elevate the play of everybody around them. That's the good ones. That's the real good ones. I call it the it factor. You can't put your hands on it, but you can see the results of it. Okay? First of all, we had a culture set in place. You're going to work hard. You're going to have respect. You're going to be challenged every day. And I told them, we're going to get after it. Okay? Some people's getting after it's different than other people's getting after it. Okay? No, we were going to get after it. Okay? It was understood. You came with an attitude. You were going to be intense. All right? But every team needs tone setters. Am I right, Wayne Kyle? You need tone setters. Somebody that's going to do Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it or work at it with all your heart. Who's going to do the whatevers? A lot of people don't want to do the whatevers. Okay? The ones that do it with a passion, a zeal, and you can tell it means something to them, they have the it factor. Okay? It's an attitude that affects, and infects everybody around them. Okay? That's what it does. You got to have them, and Ben would tell you he's not the only one that had it on our team. He would give you credit. He would give credit to his teammates. Okay? Because there were some other guys that brought it every day. Okay? They're the ones that made a difference. When you do it long enough, it becomes a habit, and it spreads through the team. Then you got something. The guys don't want to let the other ones down. You've instilled culture. To do that, you need ones that will do the whatevers with all their heart. So lastly, what's a coach think about coaching somebody like me? You know what you're going to get. I just thought of something. Rick Barnes will tell you. He's got a security blanket up there with him in Knoxville. They may not win every game, but he knows one person's coming to battle every day. Y'all know who he is if you watch UT. It's that little 5'9" guy. He's bringing it every night. He's bringing it. Got a security blanket. Makes you feel good, doesn't it, Coach? Because here's the deal. I knew what I was going to get. It wouldn't be perfect. He wouldn't always get the job done. Maybe that, but I guarantee you he's going to try. Going into each game, he was going to do the little things with a passion, going to get effort. I'm going to get effort, and he would do what you say. He came with an attitude, an excellent spirit to do. Win or lose, he's going to try to carry out his job. What that's called, people, is called character. Okay? He also didn't make it about himself. He wanted to take others with him. That's all the thing stuff right there in itself. So as a coach, you look forward to practice when you have coachable kids that have a passion to do the right thing. To get better, to strive for perfection, and then here's the fun part, you will get to see them reach excellence. You get to enjoy the journey along with them as they climb the ladder to success. Congrats, Ben.
Thank you, Coach Allen. I thought we'd at least get a Johnny Chavis story for how I almost cost him his career. chopping his arm off. Our fourth induction is Miss Casey Kyle. Casey was a two-sport, sometimes three-sport, sometimes four-sport athlete at SHS yearly. It just depended on what she wanted to do. Her talents included basketball, softball, cross-country, and of course the football cheer squad, which she excelled at, believe it or not. She excelled at multiple sports, but her true talent was basketball. She played for different coaches throughout her career, and as any coach knows, or any player knows, you have to adjust every time somebody brings a different scheme every year, but she still managed to find a way to score. So once again, you're going to ask yourself, is she ever going to miss? So Casey was also one of the truest outfielders I've ever seen in my life. I'd sit over there on my bucket, and she would back up to the fence. And I'd be like, Coach Rizzo, should I bring her in? Should I bring her in? Should I bring her in? She'd say, no, leave her there. I said, her speed and ability to judge the ball was phenomenal. The ball's off the bat, she's moving. From the fence, she could come all the way to the second base, dirt basically, and catch a ball and never drop it. We used to do a pitching machine exercise, and we'd turn it as wide open at home plate, set it straight up, and it would shoot a ball to the moon. And they each had 10 balls, but Casey never dropped one. She'd catch it, pitch it, catch it, pitch it, run, catch it, pitch it. Everybody else is like, you know, and that kind of thing. But she was literally pretty amazing at that. She could have played college and softball if she wanted to, but anybody shot the ball like she did, because Coach Allen tell you she's a pure shooter, and that's rare. But anyway, Casey never dropped the ball that I saw, but as for basketball, she scored a total career of 1,964 points, which is obviously the full court record for Sweetwater High School. She scored 42 points in one game and 44 points in another game, which is also records. Both school records at the time, but speaking on behalf of Casey, and I gotta add one more thing to the Kyle family, which all of you are sitting here. Tonight, the Kyle family becomes the second most inducted family in Sweetwater's Hall of Fame, behind the Barone family. And don't think that BJ's ever been thrown out either, stealing bases that I'm aware of, but Nikki's probably well on her way as well. But speaking on her behalf is two of her teammates, and we won't talk about their age, because they're obviously the youngest people up here. We have Lacey Mashburn and Christy Thomas, because we're going to use your old school name. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Lacey Mashburn and Christy Thomas.
Good evening, guys. Some say that the best part of competition is that it reveals not only our capabilities, but also the strength and determination we never knew we had. Through sports, we push past our limits, uncovering just how much more we can achieve than we ever believed possible. Tonight, as we celebrate Casey's incredible achievements, it's safe to say she did far more than she ever imagined. Casey etched her name into the history of SHS basketball, setting records that still stand as a testament to her talent and dedication. She holds the all-time scoring record with an astounding 1,964 career points. She also set the school single game scoring record with 42 points, only to break her own record her senior year with an unforgettable 44-point performance. But Casey's impact goes beyond statistics. She wasn't just a scorer, she was the backbone of our team, carrying us through many seasons. Game after game, she faced double teams, yet she still found a way to lead us. Defenses tried to stop her, but they were always a step behind. If the game was on the line, we wanted the ball in her hands. She was our offensive force, our unstoppable competitor, our teammate we could always count on. Of course, Casey's competitive fire wasn't limited to basketball. If you've ever played a board game with her, you know exactly what I mean. You sweat bullets thinking, I'm going to be on my best game. With the pressure of of being on her team was real, but the relentless drive is what made her great. It's what pushed all of us to be better. Yet, what I admire most about Casey, you won't find on any stat sheet. Casey loved the game, but even more than that, she loved her teammates. She showed me that love is absolute loyalty. People come and go, talents fade, but true loyalty never wavers. Years have passed since we shared the court, yet Casey's loyalty has never wavered. She was the friend you could count on then, and she's the friend that you can count on now. Basketball wasn't just a game for us. It was a teacher of life, of love, of loyalty. The lesson is one I carried with me, and it's one that I pass on down to my children. Casey, it is an honor to have been your teammate, but it's an even greater blessing to call you best friend. Congratulations on this well-deserved induction into the Hall of Fame. And we've never did anything apart, myself, Casey, and Christy. So that's why I'm going to tap her in, because we did everything in life together. So I couldn't break that trend.
So I had a longer speech, but then they told me that Greg Allen was talking. I was like, sure, Mama will. But tonight we celebrate a truly remarkable athlete and an even more incredible person. For those of you who had the privilege to watch Casey, you know exactly how special she is. We had one game plan when we went out there, and that was to get Casey the ball. You guys saw her dominate on game day and break records and inspire awe in everyone who watched, including her opponents. But for those of us lucky enough to call her a teammate, we got to see the real Casey, the one behind the highlights and the trophies. We got to see the grit and the laughter and the moments that made her not just a phenomenal player, but the heartbeat of our team. Some of my favorite memories aren't really from the games, but from all the moments in between. I'll never forget sleeping on those rock-hard floors at Sequatchie County Basketball Camp, or surviving those showers that felt like they were like pelting us with nails. I've never taken a faster shower. I'll always remember sitting on the bus next to her on the rides to the games, listening to our Sony Walkmans. That's going to age us a little bit. French braiding each other's hair. We always French braided each other's hair on the bus on the way there. And for the record, my hair always looked better because she was also annoyingly good at French braiding. But those memories, those small everyday moments, are really the ones that I hold closest to my heart. So, Casey, thank you for every laugh, every moment, every memory, every ounce of heart that you poured into our team. Thank you for being the fiercest competitor, the most selfless teammate, and the best friend. You have always inspired me and everyone around you, not just through your talent and your work ethic, but also just through your heart. It's really an honor to stand here tonight and celebrate you as a teammate, a legend, and a lifelong friend. So congratulations, Casey, on your induction into the Hall of Fame. You've earned this and so much more. Thank you.
you, Lacey and Christy. Our final induction is Mr. Kevin Sharp. Kevin was a certified superstar at SHS in 2 sports for sure. He deserves a lot of lost recognition due to growing up with so many great athletes. SHS halls in the 80s, and we're dating ourselves, were full of players in every sport. If Kevin hadn't had to swing the rock, as we call it, Coach Weiss, or passing the ball, it would be untelling what he could have done, especially with today's fast-paced offenses, because you could get up and down the floor. But once again, you still had to run box, 1-4 high, 1-4 low, and 5 passes. But you're going to play defense first. But he was a senior when I was a freshman, and being able to watch him excel in the hallways and on the court and on the football field was an amazing feat. You just sit back and kind of look and aspire to kind of be that way. You know, it just, you can't really explain it unless you kind of lived it. But to see somebody that shot with such an arch, and obviously that had to be fixed by somebody, we won't talk about it, but I was told I shot too flat, you know. But anyway, Kevin's one of the best role models that a freshman could possibly have. He's never in trouble. He never got paddled by Steve Brong every day because Greg Allen got us in trouble, and he got us paddled. He always represented SHS, and to this very moment, he still is, with his 2nd induction to the Hall of Fame. He's with the 81-82 boys' first state team. He's a member of the 1,000-point club, and one of the key factors has helped lead the 81-82 team, obviously, as I said before. He scored his 1,000 points in 3 years without a 3-point line. Now, understand that. There was no 3-point line then. Every point he scored was 2 points or free throws. That first team that he was on obviously is in the Hall of Fame as well. Kevin led his team in scoring both his junior and senior year and has multiple awards, including All East Tennessee, All Tri-State, multiple county and district awards. Now, speaking on behalf of Kevin is another legend, Coach Don Weiss, who's also in the Hall of Fame. While we got the opportunity, and I see Wayne Kyle and the rest of the seniors sitting here, we used to get done with basketball. We had basketball first period. So if we weren't out on the gym floor, we were down in the locker room. And they had these little benches back those days. So when Coach Weiss said shower, everybody showered. It didn't matter if you did it. Well, now you got to tell us the truth. Okay? No, they didn't always true. Well, we're in the shower, and next thing I know, Wayne Kyle's got a hold of him. Well, he slings me across the floor. Well, I'm going across the floor in front of Coach Weiss's office. And he denies it to this day. What'd you do to me?
I know I didn't have it.
Yeah, he busted my tail. Because of him. Now, Kevin Sharp talking about the role model, just kind of sat there and shook his head at these guys. You know, well, what are they doing? But never partook in those vicious beatings that we took. But anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Don Weiss.
Boy, it's great to be here tonight. Let me get my notes out. I'm glad to call you, Greg. That's not a preacher right there. I'm certainly glad I didn't have to follow Wayne Kyle either.
Right.
Between these two, it'd be a bad night. But I'm thankful that I got to come here in 1976, be a Wildcat. It's great to be a Wildcat. I want to thank Coach Weaver for asking me to be here to introduce and honor Kevin and the Hall of Fame. A lot of good memories. I hope I give justice to my friend Kevin. All of Sweetwater, Monroe County, basketball district of the region know and remember Kevin and his basketball prowess, which are the product of many, many years of hard work. Kevin is a member of the 81-82 Hall of Fame, and his, these some of his personal goals, as Coach Weaver just said. He was, as my knowledge, he's the first member of the 1,000-point club, two-time MVP, all-county 2 years, all-county, all-district 2 years, all-region 2 years, all-district MVP, all-tri-state 2 years, all-East Tennessee 2 years, and all-state A class player 1 time. So before we get into about Kevin right here, I want to give one small snapshot of the basketball program before Kevin. We were beginning to get a stronghold in our district around here and county in basketball, and the gym was beginning to fill up with our great community support. We didn't have it when we first started Ray Allen, but it is now because of these guys. We began to play the type of ball we wanted, and this helped to start us right here. Sports writer from Monroe County newspaper, Pat Pennington, once wrote, "Sweetwater's playing a hand-to-hand, man-to-man, full court pressing, fast break, kamikaze." We call it kamikaze because we were pretty daggone physical. Tyler basketball. I can still hear opposing coaches screaming, "You better get back on defense, you know we're running." We embraced and enjoyed Pat's statement because it caused much distress to our opponents. And it did, because they complained consistently about our type of play. And it helped fortify our style of play that Kevin and the team were expected to carry forward. To name just a few of the former players that helped develop this style of play: Gerald Brown, Mike Kozar, Johnny Fox, and back here in the back, Mr. Drop Step himself, Darrell Latham. He could drop step from the free throw line to the goal before you could blink your eye. And I can remember I got my fair share of technical fouls, complaining to the referees when they said you can't make that move without walking, which he could. He could drop step you from the, and I know he was in a tournament over in Sequatchie County. I about got thrown out of the ball game because the referee kept calling it. And he kept just beating this guy about 6'6". But anyway, he could do that. And with that one small snapshot of just a little bit of before Kevin and our team, as the great reporter Paul Harvey once said, and now for the rest of the story. Kevin's story is one of the 3, 4, 5 most important words. And we had some there. Wow. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Kevin's SHS basketball experience began in the fall of 1978. Was it 50 years ago almost? Which makes you guys old. I thought you were 17. I'm not even old. It's getting close. But anyway, the beginning of his basketball career was not at all to his liking, or it wasn't satisfactory to him. He was not happy with his coach, me. His lack of playtime did not set well and was not agreeable to him. And I want you to understand the story of where he came from and where he got to and what hard work will get you. From this rough start, sitting on the bench, and he did, watching others take what he considered his playtime, and I heard about that. Kevin began his journey from not playing as a freshman to the 6th man as a sophomore. He began to buy fully, heartily into the standard of excellence demanded with his basketball program. And it was his decision. It was no one else's. He had to start his own motor, and he did. This 14-year-old young man was beginning to grasp and understand his inner strength and potential of competition that he possessed. Most athletes, and I think Coach Allen, Coach Weaver here and all will agree with it. Most athletes want to possess, they want to possess the product of being a good ball player, but without going through the process of becoming a good player. They say, and I've heard this too many times, they say, I will start to improve my skills tomorrow. And what is it? It's procrastination. Kevin began immediately to tap into his inner strength, and he ran. Hear that now. He ran toward the process of becoming the best basketball player he could and improve his basketball skills. He didn't run from the process, he ran to it. He completely changed and upgraded his basketball skill set. He was constantly in the gym working on his shooting and ball handling skills. I had forgotten this, but Kevin, he came to the house one day and we talked about this, and he quickly reminded me of it. He said, Coach Weiss, you remember the first time, our first meeting, when I wanted to change his shot, and I didn't remember. I wanted to change it to 11 o'clock high, as Coach Weaver just alluded to there a minute ago, and he had 11, that's where perfect release is, because if you shoot the ball up nice and high, almost 2 balls will go through that basket at the same time. So we changed it to 11 o'clock high. He was shooting air balls. He wasn't happy with me at all. And the looks he gave me, gave me pause. And it was not for weak at heart at all. But he trusted me. He trusted me to stay with the program. He changed himself into an excellent basketball player. The proof is in the pudding. Thank you, Kevin. Speaking with some of his teammates, a few of their comments. Kevin, the silent assassin. Mr. Bankshot. I love the Bankshot. Mr. Money. Mr. Greenlight. Mr. Outside matched up with Mr. Inside, Wayne Kyle. And that's just a few of the comments. I was afraid Coach Weaver would bust me on the time, so I didn't want to add too awful much in there. I was afraid he'd give me the hook up here. Kevin being the outstanding, and this is what pleases you, the most of the coach, Kevin being the outstanding teammate and team player. He wants me to make this about the team as much as about him. And I will. Over the next few years, our basketball team won well over 9% of the games and was always in the mix of and we not only in the mix, we beat the county. We kicked Madisonville and Pelico and everybody's butt. So it's Madisonville, it's not Sequoia. And it will always be that. I used to drive around Madisonville. Being from Tellico and getting the coach to come to Sweetwater, now I've got a lot of relatives over there. I can't say too much about that. My son's an attorney over there, so I better not say much. But we won well over 9% of our games, and we were always in the mix of district and regional. But something was still missing from Greg and Wayne and Mark and Kevin and all the guys. The wins didn't seem to satisfy us. As we all know, any competitor knows that wins and losses are both imposters. Just because you win doesn't make you a winner. Just because you lose doesn't make you a loser. In constant search, I lost my place. In constant search of ways to help my team improve, I read what the great coach John Wooden once said. Don't mistake activity for achievement. Also, mental is physical what 5 is or more. You can always achieve more. And we were daily working exceptionally hard physically. Excellence became our goal, not just win a game. We practiced and played against the game, not just against an opponent. Our practices began every day in the locker room working. And the guys that's with them, they'll remember these guys. Kevin Wheeler, Kevin Williams, and Gary Ballard had their practice gear laid out and ready for them and in the exact order. We wanted it to start right there. Exactly there. And now then the next question right here, I got Greg and Wayne right here. How long did we stand in a defensive stance, trying to prove, without moving, I might say, to improve our mental part?
5 minutes. That's what you started with. not move. Your legs would be quivering, there would be sweat coming off your nose, and he'd say, "Don't move!" And somebody would move. 15 extra. So, but you couldn't move your eyes. You didn't move. You had to stay right here.
We got mentally tough, mentally and physically.
What Greg was saying is not the truth.
Yes, it is.
The real amount of time is classified and only known by the investigation.
That's what it was said.
I'm glad Hughes is not here, bless his heart. That helped train our minds. Also during the year, and this is important, also during the year, this team was so mentally focused and competitive, they wanted to play every second and didn't want me to substitute them out of the game. And this is hard as a coach to do, but we met and struck an agreement. They could sub themselves out of the game and put themselves back in when they were fresh. And if I subbed them, I put them back in when I was ready. And they liked that. They gave them control of the team. And that never bothered me because I always believed in the players play the game, the coaches to scout away all they can. You teach them what, where, and how you want to do it, let them play. And they done that. But if something, the only exception, if somebody had a hot shoe in hand or foul trouble or a game score, then that would mess with substitution. And they were essentially given the keys to the big blue machine with Greg Allen as the driver. The team knew each other so extremely well on the court that they anticipated what the other was going to do with just a nod of the head or a blink of the eye, unless I called that play. And Greg Allen always done that. And no one ever knew what in the world we were doing. We had a zero play. It was? Challenge, zero challenge. But they were essentially given the key right there. They knew each other so well, just a blink in the eye, look in the nod. That's total team chemistry. And then, going on further, is our practice goal for the third part of the season, the tournament, was to execute our offense and defense perfectly for 3 times in a row and move on. Because in study I've read about the mind that if you could do something 3 times in a row perfectly, you can do it forever. Now you imagine taking 5 guys and getting them to do it, or 10 guys on defense too, getting them to do it perfect, because the defense messed up with all that do it again. And it took a while, but after we got it all down pretty good, our practice didn't last but 30, 45 minutes. By the time the tournament rolled around, we were prepared, mentally and physically. We ran through and won the district tournament. Then we went through the regional tournament. We lost Alco in the region, had to travel to Hampton, Tennessee, the #1 team in Tennessee. You want to tell the story about Mr. Pugh? You tell it. I can. Our principal and great supporter, Mr. Pugh, who sat on the bench with us every ball game, he started when these guys were sophomores sitting on the bench with me. The players loved him being there. On the way to Hampton, Mr. Pugh stopped the caravan somewhere around Elizabeth, and he made us all get out. You have to understand Mr. Pugh and who he was. Great gentleman, great gentleman. He made us all get out, and we all walked around there for a while he took forever, I thought, and told us this is where he grew up, and this is where he farmed the land. And we've had a lot of good laughs about that. And there's 2 or 3 others about him sleeping in the bed in the motel room up there, but we won't go there. So when we finally arrived up to Hampton High School, way up in the mountains of East Tennessee, there's a line well over 100 yards around the gym, and the gym was packed to the ceiling. And you talk about intimidating, it's the most intimidating place I've ever been as a player, as a coach. At the halftime, I felt that the players had played very timidly. And I was giving them their drill, Coach, we scorched early about how hard they'd work, mentally and physically, to get to this point. About that time, Sam Brown and Kevin stood up. Sam patted me on the backside, said, "Relax, latched on, it's gonna be all right. Nothing else was said. The room was dead silent. As I looked around the room, the look of deer in the headlights had changed. Mark with his veins sticking out his neck. Determined looks all around the room. Blood running down Wayne's face. Greg Allen's death stare would scare the H-E-double-L out of anybody. And they about knocked the door down, getting back out to the room. And you know what? After all that, it was all right. The team played with mental focus and physical toughness and determination, which I rarely witnessed as a coach. We beat the #1 team in Tennessee and advanced to the Elite Eight Tennessee State Tournament. Kevin and his team were the first boys basketball team in Monroe County's Rural High School to advance to the Tennessee State Tournament. As stated earlier, Kevin's, and I want to repeat them again, they're so great. Kevin's individual accomplishments included is the first member of the Boys 1,000 Point Club, All County 2 years, MVP All County, All District 2 years, All District MVP, All Region 2 years, All Tri-State 2 years, All East Tennessee 2 years, Class A state, and he's the only boy basketball player I ever had to sign a basketball scholarship. He went to Rome State. Kevin was a coach's delight. And now you know the rest of the story. Without further delay, it's my privilege to introduce to you 2025 Hall of Fame inductee Kevin Sharp.
That's my pop-pop.
Thank you, Coach Weiss. Go ahead. Continue. Before we move on, Coach Allen requested to speak again.
Go give us a moment, okay?
Yeah, okay. Just waiting on Coach Allen. The floor is open. The floor is open. I swear that it looked like they did in high school.
Thank you so much for watching SHS TV. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. Be sure to subscribe and help support our channel by turning on notifications so you're the first to know when we post a new video.